Welcome to Cut to the Banter podcast. My name's Lucas.
My name's Hayden.
And today we are going over Invincible, Season 3, Episode 1 through 3.
Yes.
And that is a banger intro to a season, for sure.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I think like Season 1, good episode, solid episode. Season 2, Episode 2?
What? It's so good,
What?
dude.
I was low-key getting pissed a little. I was like, all right, what's happening here?
Yeah,
Everything's falling apart. And then
Yep.
Episode 3 was crazy.
Yeah, no. I think Episode 1 is probably the weakest of the entire Season 3, just because it is that, like, there's so much stuff that doesn't really fit yet until you get to Episode 2, and then things fit a little bit better. But it's still kind of weak compared to the rest. But it's a great setup piece because Episode 2 is the embodiment of the biggest theme in Invincible right now.
Right, yeah.
Which is Mark right in the no-kill rule?
No-kill rule. Which I think is crazy that like, we literally talked about this before I even knew this was going to be like a big theme.
Yep.
Like, we'll get to that. Let's hit a few other points before we get to that. I think first of all, Mark's glow up. Like, how did bro go from being like just actually so weak to being so strong?
Yeah, it's so cool.
In one episode. Episode 1, bro, like he went crazy.
And this is kind of why I think Episode 1 is a great setup piece, because in Episode 1 we see like there's nothing that they can make that is strong enough for Mark to struggle with for gaining strength or anything like that. And so, you know, it sets up that piece of like of Cecil being kind of terrified of how strong Mark is now. And he has control issues. Yep. He sees he's losing control of Mark, and you know, he's trying to regain that back, and it creates some big separation and divide and stuff.
And then it's Episode 1, like it was just such a great episode for Episode 2, and then you get, I mean, the climax really of what you're saying of Cecil being scared of Mark now. Yep. And it literally we get into this the whole no kill rule thing, and at the end of Episode 1, Mark is fighting, going to save all the heroes from Doc Seismic, and then he sees the reanimate man. Is that what they're called? Reanimate. Yep. And Nightwing too, like you said. And Mark is just straight. He's so mad. He's so mad. He flies out of the volcano, leaving even the dust. And he literally crashes into the Pentagon. Like, first of all, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And then I think Cecil did not handle it well, and I think that's obvious. Yeah. But I think then when you think about it, like, he was terrified.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he definitely didn't let it see, but like, I mean, he told Mark, he was like, Mark, I'm scared right now. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm scared, bro. Yep. And that's where you see, like, it's so masterful. Like, Cecil is so smart. Yeah. He's just like, he knows Mark's gonna follow him, and he just casually strolls into the White Room with all the
and that conversation right there before they get to the White Room, like you see the moral high ground that Mark is on that is hypocritical,
right?
Because he's like, you're letting these people who killed people, and you know, you're letting them reform and all this stuff. And Cecil says, but you killed Angstrom Levy. And he thinks just because it was protecting his family, it's different. Okay. It's okay for me when it's, you know, I'm sorry about it. I regret it. These people don't regret it, so they don't deserve to reform. And that conversation leading right into the White Room is so good.
Yeah, and then that gets into the conversation about the whole, like, about Cecil, like, wanting to reform these people, but then Mark being like, no, like they deserve to be in prison.
Yep.
And then Cecil used a really interesting word. He said psychological reprogramming.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are the ethics of that, bro? Like, are they the same person anymore? Like,
I don't
like,
know.
Is that like some like what's the Winter Soldier thing? What do they
Yeah,
do?
yeah.
Like
the whole code and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Because I had always thought like, oh, psychological reprogramming.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And that's that. I think that's the point where Cecil, like we see Cecil take it too far.
Yeah, right.
Like he saw his last director, Radcliffe, do the same thing of reforming the what was their name? Knuckle Buster and
Force Punch or something.
Force Fist.
Force Fist. Yeah.
And like he literally completely reprogrammed them, and they saved him.
Yeah, right. And then he shoots them in the head.
Shoots them.
That was crazy.
And I think that's a great like juxtaposition, and I think we really see Mark's point of view or Cecil's point of view, because he saw when he was young, he was immature like Mark is in this like, you know, we have to do things above grade. We can't fall. And so whenever he, you know, and think that plays into the whole like being terrified of Mark's.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I was immature, but I wasn't the strongest person on earth.
Yeah, for real.
And so Cecil's like, I have to put safeguards.
And I think that's this is the first time where I'm not like just wholeheartedly on one side.
Yeah.
Like I think Cecil's perspective makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And I think Mark's does too. I think he is 100% valid in feeling that way because of who his dad is.
Yeah, exactly.
And like just wanting to not even wanting to flirt with that.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So I mean like that is just bro, Robert Kirkman, literally, bro, I was watching interviews with him today. Like, he's just a normal dude, but just coming up with the craziest stories ever.
For real. He's like, cooking right
bro,
now.
He is cooking.
And I that was one thing that, like, that I noticed as I watched through this time, is that one piece line. Because remember the last time we saw us in season 2, we saw how the roles reversed for Cecil and Mark, where it was like Cecil's now the one saying, you're not like your dad. Yep. You're not like your dad. And then Mark believed him. He said, you said that about me. I feel confident in who I am now. And then he gets to this place and he's like, you don't even actually mean what you said to me.
Right.
And that whole thing just broke Mark's mind and trust about who Cecil is.
And I think that's really interesting, where it shows Mark's immaturity. Like I feel like Cecil does truly believe that.
Yeah.
But Mark doesn't believe that he believes that.
Yeah.
And it's just because he's a 19-year-old kid, right?
Yeah.
Like us. But it just you can see from the outside looking in, like like I mean, he was just like on an emotional high, and like I mean, like just watching episode 2, him murdering all the what the heck are those things called?
Episode 1 when he kills Multipole?
No.
Oh, the Reaniman.
The Reaniman. I gotta remember that. the Reaniman and him killing him in the Guardians of the Globe thing there.
Yeah.
And like obviously a callback to episode 1
of season 1.
Seeing Norm.
And like literally seeing Mark do some of the same exact moves.
Yeah.
That
the whole and the one blood splatter. That was straight out of that was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And like I think literally my jaw dropped. Like the Reanimen were beat him up, and then he gets up and he kills them all, and then like Cecil. What does Cecil say? He says, "Don't you ever threaten me again." And it's just boom. He has a like that was crazy.
Yes.
Bro was dead. Like if like it was any like bro was dead.
Yep. Exactly.
But I think that is for Mark's case. Like he didn't kill him. Even he was on that emotional high.
Yeah.
He was extremely angry. I mean.
Yeah.
Bro, like he was literally like his ears were like bleeding.
Yeah.
And like
I think visually what part was stunning. Like seeing how like as soon as it cut out, you could because as like you could hear the pain in Mark's voice as the noise is going on in his head, and then it just completely drops, and he's pissed, bro, and he just destroys them, but he still was able to gain composure, and I think that's one thing that like you see about Mark through this is like, yes, he's immature, but his whole dialogue with his mom last season, at the very end was, I need to learn self-control, and even with this like intense, just complete confusion and everything, he was able to only kill the reanimate. He didn't go anywhere else, and he was able to threaten Cecil without taking that next step.
And I think, again, even in that situation, I think they were both valid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Cecil was stupid for saying, never threaten me again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think they're both valid in feeling the way they felt.
Yeah.
Like, Cecil is in charge of the safety of the world, basically, because he's the head of the superhero people. Yep. I mean, that's...
And Mark feels the responsibility of it, but he doesn't have as much of like organizing it. He's just like, I'm here, I'm the most powerful, so I'm gonna defend no matter what it takes. Yep. But Cecil's like, I have to make sure all heroes are doing what they're supposed to do
and
making those sacrifices when needed.
And again, like the piece of Mark being Nolan's son. Being Omni-Man's son, killed all the Guardians of the Globe. Like, it makes sense. Like, him implanting the thing into his head. Like, it makes sense.
It does.
Like, it's crazy, but like the line that what's his name, Radcliffe said in the flashbacks, Cecil's boss, and then now Cecil's saying it to Donald at the end of I think, was it episode 3 that he said it, or was it episode 2?
I think it's episode 2.
Him saying, You can be the good guy or the guy who saves the world, but you can't be both.
Yep.
I think that that distills down this struggle between Mark and Cecil.
Yep.
And as we go on, between Mark and Oliver, which is crazy.
Which is crazy.
Like that. Like, I was just like, I was smiling like that whole time, because I was like, that is so cool. The way they're bringing in like Oliver, like, being the embodiment of that, like, to the fullest. Like, these people are going to hurt more people. Like, might as well just kill them. Like, I mean, that's basically what he said.
Yeah. Oliver is like his dad, and Mark is terrified of that.
Right. Yeah.
Because he knows how hard he's fought to not be like his dad, and he's taking on this role of being a father to Oliver, and then he sees him be like his dad is terrifying, because he knows what Oliver is capable of. And so seeing that is...
Well, and that's kind of interesting, where it's like, Oliver has only seen his dad be a good guy. Yep. So he's kind of Mark before everything happened in season 1.
And he never experienced what Mark did.
Yeah, so it's like, it does not affect Oliver as it does Mark.
Because I think if Oliver had seen his dad kill a bunch of the Thraxans, he would have his view would have been shifted completely.
Yes.
And that's why Oliver cannot understand why Mark is saying this. And like the whole line of Oliver saying, maybe Dad was right.
Yeah, that's, oh my goodness.
But that's the thing is, I think this is one of the big things that we see is like Debbie is the reason Mark stood against his dad, because she was the one who raised Mark. And we're seeing this within Debbie raising Oliver as well, because she sits him down and he says, do you know those people had friends and family that cared about them the way you care about me?
Yeah.
And this is one thing that we both said, like the emotional intelligence in this show is so good.
At the end of episode 3, Mark being like, I'm sorry, like I know like you need somebody to talk to. I'm sorry for being mad about Paul. Is that his name?
Yep.
Paul. And then her being like, I'm sorry that like I should have asked you to tell him. Like that's both like that's correct.
Exactly.
Like they're both just like that. That is like what they both like. Yeah, he shouldn't have been mad, and she probably shouldn't have told him.
Yeah.
Without or at least tell him, okay, I'm gonna tell him.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's crazy.
And I love that scene where she's talking about like doing the dishes, and she's like, it makes me feel normal for a sec, and then Mark jumps in and helps her, and you see this. He has a huge bond with his mom, in that they're both human, and they do these things together. They're gonna stick together, all like they're gonna go through life together, and you know, and that was beautiful to see. That it's one small, tiny little thing that just adds to this great story.
Well, and I feel like so many stories are just completely driven by just people that are just so emotionally unintelligent.
Yeah.
But in this show, like it feels so much more realistic, where it's like I feel like at the beginning, I think Amber and Mark were like, I think Amber was absolutely retarded.
Yeah.
But then season 2, Amber and Mark, like they really started to like figure it out. But and then when they broke up, that was a very emotionally intelligent breakup. Like with the complications of being in a relationship with a superhero, I think that everything she said makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we get to Eve and Mark getting together, and I think this was the conversation they had. No, this was the conversation they had on the roof when they finally did get together.
Yep.
And I don't even remember what Eve said, but I remember us both being like, wow, like emotional intelligence for once.
Exactly.
Like, it's crazy.
Like this whole thing of like, it just makes sense for us to date.
Right.
Because we understand what comes with the territory. And, you know, as we see later in that episode, he misses that first date. And he's mad about it. Like, he's upset.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's okay.
I think that's kind of cool, because it's like, I mean, that's how Amber reacted.
Yeah.
Right. She was so mad anytime he missed a date, even though she knew he was a superhero.
Yeah. And that was part of, especially in season 1. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And that was part of her struggle. It was like, I feel guilty about feeling the way I feel about you not spending time with me. And that's why it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Yeah. I think that's what that relationship does. That's so good. Like, yes, Amber and Mark didn't work out, but they needed to show that sometimes it doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work. Yeah.
There's things that just you don't mesh and you don't come together. And it's good. And that's like the relationships, the themes, all of it is so good. Amazon, give them the freaking budget for animation, dude.
I'm about to go to Amazon. I'm about to go to Jeff Bezos' house and tell him, take your company back and give Invincible the money, bro.
Exactly.
Like, you're I'm gonna crash out.
I'm gonna crash. All right, we need to talk about season 3, episode 3, the cold opening. Oh my!
Oh gosh. My goodness!
It's so good, dude.
I think this that episode like affirmed, like I was like, this show has this crazy thing of like perspective. Like it shows so many different perspectives. Like we were talking about before with like Cecil and Mark. Like both their perspectives are right.
Yep.
And then this shows the perspective of these villains.
Yep.
That.
Yeah.
Like.
And I like how we're getting like in any position, perspective is important. In a relationship, perspective is important. That's what we learned from Amber and Mark's relationship. In a authority position, perspective is important. Cecil thinks he's above Mark, and he needs to control what Mark is doing. And, you know, Mark's like, yeah, but what you're doing isn't good. I don't believe that reforming these people is the way to go. But then we move that Mark's philosophy into his superhero wing, and we see perspectives on this side too. And, you know, the objectivity we have, there's very much like what they're doing is wrong. You can't just go and rob a bank. You deserve to go to jail for that.
Yeah.
And that's why like the opening with like them in the bank and Bulletproof coming in and then being like getting away and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you see that like, okay, and then they start to reform a little bit, but then life gets really hard. They get homeless. And so they're like, we have powers. Let's just go do what's going to make it so we don't have to be in this position. And then you see Mark in the exact same position Bulletproof was in. Coming in. But what does he do? He uses the Force to subdue them. And then you see like this whole cold opening is juxtaposing Mark's philosophy with the perspective of there is a gray area and you cannot divide black and white.
Yeah. It's crazy the amount of nuance that they show in that cold opening, from them robbing the bank and seeing the humanity while they're robbing the bank.
Exactly.
To them fighting after they do it because they failed.
Yep.
And then them being like, okay, we gotta go get jobs. We gotta do better. We gotta stop crime.
Exactly.
That not working out, like them trying to use their powers, and that just didn't work out. Like in their job, them getting fired, them going home, them getting evicted, them being on the streets. Him being like, all right, let's go rob the bank, and then him saying, no, let's not do it. And then when they're both just down at the bottom of the trash pile, they're like, all right, like they see the bank again, and like, what are they supposed to do? Like, I mean, like obviously it's like, well, not rob the bank.
But I think this plays into Cecil's point, though.
Right.
Like, what if someone had stepped in and helped them reform? They had given them the space to be able to reform.
Because they wanted to. You could tell they genuinely wanted
to. And so I think that's where we see Mark's philosophy fail. Where it's like, you can't always just be like, you deserve to go to prison. Like, if someone had stepped in on their life and seen the perspective we had seen, it would have been like, let's give these guys a chance. Let's give them the resources. The GDA has so many freaking resources, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Give them the resources, and they would have been great heroes. They could have been, And so I think that plays into Cecil's point of making sure that like reform is something that can happen, and it's a good thing. Second chances need to be something important in a person's life to give someone a second chance.
Right. Yeah.
But Cecil doesn't see second chances as a like, this is a good thing to do. Cecil sees it as, this is an opportunity.
Yeah, this is me taking advantage of this person. This is me using this person's ability. It's not really philanthropy for him. No, it's just him doing his job.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So, and that's where I think Mark is noble in his pursuits of of the no-kill rule. But like we've said over and over again, they're both right. I think they're both correct.
I agree. Now, do you have some of this if you want to talk about?
I mean, even Mark, bro.
It's so good, bro. That, I know we keep harping on this emotional intelligence thing, but that last line that Eve gives Mark, you don't see that in any other superhero genre.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like, where Mark is like, how do I be a son, a boyfriend, a superhero all at the same time? And
oh my goodness.
And Eve goes, yes, we depend on you.
Yeah.
But also, you can depend on us.
She's like, you don't understand.
The
whole point is that you can depend on us as well. Like,
exactly.
Oh my good.
And see, because Mark has this view of like, I have to take care of it. I'm the one who has to carry the rest. I have to make sure everything's on my back and I'm doing it alone.
That's such a normal guy thing with the whole the hero complex. He's literally a superhero. So that makes it a little bit worse.
Exactly.
Wanting to save everybody, wanting to be everybody's hero. That's a normal thing you have to get over.
Yep.
Right?
And that's what he's working through, is this I can't do it alone.
Because he literally does want to save everybody, and he does a lot of the time.
Yep.
But then when he doesn't, he's absolutely torn up.
Yep, he's destroyed.
And that same philosophy bleeds into his relationships with everybody. With his mom.
Yep.
With Eve now, and with Oliver, obviously.
Exactly.
With him just you can tell like every time Oliver gets hurt, that little part of Mark, like when he goes crazy, like comes out a little bit.
Like whenever they were fighting, with the the electricity guy,
Furnace and
Curse.
Curse.
And like he sees Oliver get hurt, and you can hear in his voice.
Yeah, he's just get away from him. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's exact. You can. Stephen Yeun is crazy. You can tell.
Yep.
His voice changes to that. Like when he was beating up Angster, when he was fighting Cecil, or like that's crazy. Like, hey, you immediately know. You immediately know that he is emotional and like is angry.
Yeah. And of course he's a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
He's a 19-year-old guy.
And he's in charge of this kid.
That is his.
He's like 1, but he's like 11.
Yeah. Yep. And I think this is like one of those things that makes Invincible so good is you see there's so much complexity to this world of superheroing.
Yeah,
it's not cut and dry like we think it is. And I think that's, as young kids, you have that perspective of things are cut and dry. It's like this. But as you grow up, you find out things are not as easy as that. Relationships have to be nuanced. Relationships have to be worked at, and it's not easy anymore. And all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you see that as a message distilled in Invincible.
How is it that like the most nuanced and like human show I've ever watched is this show where like it's just like it's normal to be a superhero?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, in any MCU movie or any superhero comic book or movie or show, it's the driving force is that it is 1 in a million to be a superhero.
Yeah.
But that just isn't true in the world of Invincible.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there is so many superheroes, and I think it's The Boys done right. Like,
I agree.
It's like it's not the super crude, gross like take on what it would be like. I think this is more realistic of what it would be like.
I agree. I have not watched The Boys, and I probably won't, because I love Invincible.
Yeah, right.
And from the things I've seen of The Boys and what I've heard is it seems as if The Boys is like taking the superhero genre and like burning it down and saying that's not at all what it would be like. And saying this is realistic. Whereas Invincible is taking those tropes, making it kind of funny and goofy and quirky, but saying like
it's so
this
real.
is what happens when a human gets powers.
It's so human. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And especially with Mark, like being raised as a human. He's technically a Viltrumite. Like his Viltrumite blood is so pure that he's pretty much all Viltrumite.
Yeah.
But humanity is much more than that. I think that's one of the
humanity isn't being human, right?
No, exactly. That's kind of the push that it is. Is that humanity is the values and the ideals that you hold. And in a world where aliens exist and stuff, but if you're raised surrounded by the ideals and values of a human, and that's what we're seeing in Oliver right now. You're seeing that push of this is what it means to be human.
To be human, right? And he isn't.
No.
There's no part of him that's human. He's literally amped and Viltrumite.
Yeah, exactly. But
that's going to be really interesting to see where he goes.
And and that's one of the other questions that I had is like, what is like your projection? What do you think is coming over the horizon?
Like just in general?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I did not see everything in season 2 happening. Like Cecil and Mark getting in this crazy fight.
Yep.
Like us getting 3/4 of the way through episode 1 and then hearing a crash and then and then coming back 8 minutes left in the episode and everything just explodes. Like
yep, exactly.
Like it's I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
and that is the exact answer I wanted. Because that is great storytelling.
Right, yeah. It's like it could go anywhere.
Yeah.
And like I was like, all right, bro, what is happening in episode 2? I was like, what is going on? Like, but then episode 3, I'm like, okay, like I'm understanding, like I'm bought in, like
yeah, exactly.
Showing what happens from here.
Yep.
Well, and then Angstrom Levy coming back.
Yep.
And then
holy cow.
and like my question was, is that him? Or is that a multiverse version?
Yep.
Or is it like a multiverse version that tried to do the same thing, got his head blown up or whatever, and is just doing the same thing as after him?
Yep.
How did Bro get back? Oh, I guess he can teleport. I forgot he can teleport. He can go wherever he.
And
yeah,
that scene. Talk about it when he grabs the camera.
Oh my goodness, that is one of the coolest superhero like moments I've ever seen. He's literally like he's hugging his mom and his brother. Then they're talking about like this whole like you shouldn't be killing people, like you shouldn't have killed him. And then his eyes are closed. He opens and you can immediately see his eyes lock onto it, and he's gone in the blink of an eye.
Yep.
And he has it. And then they're like running to the door. He looks in it and it blows up.
Yep.
And like you see the window breaks and everything, and he's just holding it.
Yep.
And he's just holding it. That like the amount of aura Bro gained right there is insane. Plus 10,000 aura. Plus immediately.
Immediately. It deserved.
Yeah, so it deserved.
Like he wasn't even trying to aura farm.
No, he's just him.
He's just him.
He is just him.
Yep.
That scene was sick.
Yeah. Okay. So far, what is like? Where do you rank things right now? Where's kind of are you enjoying season 3 more?
I think I need to get a few more episodes deep.
Yeah.
Because I'm bought into the storyline right now, but I need to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because if this doesn't pan out, like I'm gonna be mad. Like season 2, we were in such a great place.
Yeah.
He was risen up Eve. Like that was, and then now like, I hope we get some of those smaller moments. Yeah. I mean, like I think we have been getting them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just loved season 2 so much. Like. Just it felt like it was just Mark, his mom, like dealing with the repercussions of his dad being a superhero that murdered all these other superheroes.
Yeah.
And then like it's felt like the world has gotten much bigger.
Yeah.
In season 3 already.
Yep.
And that's not a bad thing. Like I think everything is so cool.
Yeah. And I think that's a great balance. Like that they're having is they're showing this world building. It's starting to get big, but they're not losing those small moments that really like show the humanity.
It's only world building because it affects Mark.
Yeah.
Because it affects Debbie.
Yeah.
Right. Because it affects that family.
Yeah.
And like I'm so excited to see what happens with Alan and Nolan.
Yes, that was my next question.
And like obviously there's gonna be some war. Like I know there's a Viltrumite war because like I mean I've seen some of those things. But I mean, I don't know what happens, but I'm so excited for that. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, for real. I'm so excited for this, bro. It's just like it's one of the few things where it's like this is just good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh man.
This like I like after watching 7. Okay, it's kind of the same thing with like after I finished Attack on Titan, I was like peak. Like nothing is ever gonna be this good. And I still have never watched an anime since because I just like nothing compares.
Nothing compares.
And that's kind of okay. And that's the way I felt with Severance. Like this show is so good.
It's so good.
Like I'm never gonna be as invested in a show as I am in this. But then there's always something that comes along.
Yep.
And Invincible very shortly after we watched Severance, like so good. Dude.
It's so good.
So
and that was like, and that's why I think season 2 is so good. Because you see all the memes of season 1, and you can kind of expect what's coming and stuff, and then there's just so much more to Invincible.
Like and that like I had seen like I knew everything that happened in season 1. I mean I knew the big reveal. I knew he killed all those people. I knew he killed the Guardians of the Globe. I knew Nolan and Mark fought.
Yeah.
But like that just didn't matter at the end of the day. Like it was just so good.
Yeah.
And like but then like I had no idea what happened. I thought that was the show. Like,
Yep.
but that's like the foundation.
Yep. That's the intro.
Like, yeah, that's like that's the prologue.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much more.
Yep.
Like, I think I saw a thing like Robert Kirkman said it was going to take like 8 or 9 seasons to adapt the whole show.
Oh my gosh.
We're 3 seasons in, and it's crazy.
It's insane.
Like,
And that's the thing is like, if they can keep the pace up.
and we've already been through like two years of Mark's life.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna get to see him.
3 years.
Yeah, we're gonna get to see him into his 30s probably. I think.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
that's sick.
Yeah. And that is one of my favorite things about Invincible is there's no like making Mark a young version again or like pushing it back, and there's continuity. He's one story and you follow his story. He has a complete arc. You follow him into his 30s. You see him like become a man, and you know his life has an ending. You know, we don't have that with really any other superhero media.
As I've been like researching the comic book industry and like researching Image, which is like all the partners and whatever, that's what published Invincible, and then researching like the way Marvel does things, and like Image lets their creators do what they want.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny because like Image barely survives because of that. Like, they own nothing.
Yeah.
They take a little bit of money from the books that is sold, and everything else goes to the creator.
Wow.
And then you have Marvel, that it's the editor that is in charge of everything.
Yep.
And they don't really care about the story.
Mm-hmm.
They only care about how many books it's going to sell and all that. Like, it's void of art. It's void of soul.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, this last run of Spider-Man, it was written by Zeb Wells. He's a good writer, but they're put in such boundaries, and I'll explain. So this last run of Amazing Spider-Man, they renumbered it. I think it got through like 70 issues. Is very well known as the worst run of Spider-Man ever.
Really?
So within the first 5 issues, like it starts off with like Spider-Man like in the middle of nowhere in snow, like all beaten up, and then like it's that for like 2 pages, and then it goes 6 months later, and then you don't find out what happened for like 10 issues or something. But Mary Jane is with this random dude named Paul with 2 kids. It's so stupid. Okay, and this is why Ultimate Spider-Man, the run right now, it's like 20 issues in, is going insane because it's like 30-year-old Spider-Man with Mary Jane, with 2 kids, and like everybody loves it. So why can't we do this with mainline Amazing Spider-Man? But no, we have to keep him young because for whatever reason, they don't want him to be happy.
No.
Spider-Man cannot be happy.
Nope.
Like, and obviously, like, there's literal proof now that everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants to see Spider-Man happy.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know, and struggle with that, but you know, maintain that and work hard to keep that. You know, and I mean, and I love the Gwen Stacy story. It's amazing and it's heart-wrenching and it's good. But they took that and saw the popularity of that and said, we're going to keep that going forever. Yeah. And it's like, but no, it was good because it was one event that completely changed Spider-Man.
Yeah, because it's like they've been together. We care about these 2 together. And then there's this huge event. But then if there's no payoff, or there's this like when Gwen Stacy died, when there's not a getting back up on, or like like just standing back up and like getting with a Mary Jane, or like something like that, like having a payoff to that story. But then it's like, but there's nothing.
No.
Like since Gwen Stacy, well, that's not true. Since I think the early 2000s with the Brand New Day thing, well, I guess before that, I don't remember what it was called, but it was literally this whole saga of like Green Goblin. What's his name? Nolan Osborn.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Osborn.
Yeah. Well, what's his first name?
I'm trying to think.
Dang it!
Oh no, I'm brain farting right now.
That's crazy. That's we're fake. But like, there's literally this whole storyline of Osborn like raping Gwen Stacy and like having kids with her.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
there's like, and then like Spider-Man has to like sell his soul to Mephisto, which is literally the devil, to like, I don't even remember what it is, but like they do it. Or no, he doesn't sell his soul. He sells their marriage. He's like, you have to give up your marriage to save these people or whatever. And then that's how they split. Like, they were married for a while in the comics. And then like what is that?
That's stupid.
And then, like that before was known as the worst storyline, and now there's this. So like, I was like, this just sucks. That's crazy. But it like so now there's a new run that I think is 4 issues in. But in this, there's no way to know.
Yeah. How
good it is yet. But hopefully they.
And that's the thing. Like as you're talking about this, like we need to give Image Comics some love.
Oh, for real. Like I have the Marvel Now thing on my iPad, so I can read whatever Marvel comics I want.
Yeah.
So like, I haven't really been buying any of those. I bought like a few. I bought like I bought like 4 image trades the other day.
Yeah.
It's like I bought one or I bought 2 by Donny Cates. He wrote the Venom run. With Noel and everything.
Yeah.
I loved that run.
That's
So he had some stuff. He had some stuff that he wrote independently. It looks really good. And then I got the Transformers, Brian Michael Bendis, the new one, where it's the Transformers and G.I. Joe universe together.
That's sick.
So I'm super excited for that.
That's awesome.
Brian Michael Bendis he's a pretty good. Pretty good.
That's awesome.
So.
Okay, what's our vision for the future? So I had a thought. Do we want to start Marvel, or do we kind of want to keep running with the Spider-Man thing? Should we go through
all the Spider-Man movies? Oh, that could be crazy.
Yep, and we could do like a huge climax episode of No Way Home.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. No Way Home's going to be controversial, bro. MCU Saga is going to be controversial and work way better.
And that's okay. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. You know, we're going to have some hot takes and we're going to, you know, but we want to break down the story because that's what we love. We love the themes. We love when a movie sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Spider-Man 3, bro. Maybe not the best. So much fun.
Amazing
Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Really not that good. So much fun.
So much fun.
Andrew Garfield's the GOAT. He's the best Spider-Man.
He's the best. I agree.
White dude with hands up. The best Spider-Man, bro.
Yep.
I love him.
All right. I think we're good.
We could go a little more serious. We could watch Under the Banner of Heaven. We could go crazy.
Yeah. And but that's the point of the show. Is it's like we love superheroes, but that's not where we're gonna stick. We're gonna go all over the place and introduce people to new things, to things that we love, and things can get controversial, but we're gonna navigate through that and wade through this space of things we can have an adult discussion and still love movies and not be little children and yell at each other about it.
Good content.
It's true.
It gets views.
Alrighty.
Well,
frick, we need an outro.
We don't have an outro, but that's all right. We'll see you when we see you.
Yep. Have a good one.